It's wonderfully bookish, whoa. All things books, let's start the show. Everything from classics to contemporary. Come and chat about books with me. If you're a reader of YA, grab a cuppa and just press play.
Hi, welcome to this episode. This is so weird because it's been literally a year
my gosh, tell me about it.
we last did a podcast episode on this podcast. I've been recording podcast episodes for a different podcast for ages now, and this one we went all out like almost a year ago, getting excited for uploading loads of episodes, and then it just didn't happen. But we're here now with that. So in this episode, I'm talking to Beth, who is here with us right now. You might know Beth as BooksNest since 2016. Is that right?
Yeah.
She's grown a blog and her social media. Can't speak. She's grown her blog and her social media accounts, especially Instagram, and she's also won 2 blogging awards, which is very exciting. Yeah. Yeah, she regularly shares tips and advice about how to grow your platform. Again, especially on Instagram, where as of recording, I think you've got nearly like 27,000 followers.
Yeah, I'm very near 27,000, which is insane.
Crazy. So yeah, I thought we can chat. We're going to chat today about how to grow your following on Instagram, how to promote other platforms like a blog, and how to start making money from your online presence, because it's one thing that people always have questions about. It's one of those things that a lot of people want to do, but they have so many questions about. So let's get straight into it. I was gonna say, when did you start your Instagram account? But like 2016.
Yeah, I think the Instagram account was like a New Year's resolution thing. So I think it was like the 3rd of January or something like that. It was right at the start of the year, and then everything else spiraled off the back of it. I'd always looked at book accounts before I started my own. I was like, I really want to do this. And then I was like, go on then.
Yeah, just do it then.
Why not? We'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long did it take for you to notice it start growing? Like, how long was it just kind of like a small account until you started growing it? And like, how quickly did it start picking up traction as soon as it started growing?
I think when it hit, so within the first year or so, it was very much like just a small account, me playing about with what kind of photos look good. I look back at the photos I took now and think, what was I thinking?
Same.
Honestly, like, I think I always do that with creative process. I always create something, and at work and stuff, I'm like, this is going to be awful first, but then it's going to be great. Just bear with. So everyone knows that's how I work.
Yeah.
But so I think it took me about a year or so to reach the like 1.5k mark, and then I just sat there unmoving for ages. And then I just suddenly started going again about, I guess, like 2017, 2018, like in between those two. And then I just started rolling a little bit slowly to start with. But then 2019 was when I really, really hit it off. I went at the end of 2018, I went into a few Instagram pods, and was friends with other accounts that were like similar to mine, but also different audiences. And I kind of started engaging a lot more and getting my head around it. And I started working properly in social media as well in my day job then, and really understanding it a lot more.
I find that helped as well when I did a lot of like with my blog and things, having a job also in like a related thing where I help clients' blogs. I find that it kind of gives you loads of knowledge that you can use in your own stuff.
It's like you're doing it every day, so it's just a constant thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like I can look at this professionally, or I can look at it as a hobby, and I've got both angles, so I feel like I can cover both, because I think that's what Bookstagram turns into. Like it's ultimately a hobby, but I've managed to do the professional side, because I think like I know the date I hit 10k because it's also the date that someone was born in my family.
Oh, no. Perfect.
What a good day.
It was May 28th, 2019. So from then to now, I've gone up by nearly 17,000 more.
Crazy.
Which is, so I think since 10k hit, like then it's just been like growth. With a little bit of stagnant.
Nickname is 10k, isn't it? Like every time you see that show, like, hey 10k,
hey, little 10k, yeah. Yeah, it's an easy way to remember the day. It's nice to know the land not for it.
So
but yeah, that's kind of from there it went on.
Yeah, cool. So what are some of your, I know you kind of talked about it a bit on like your YouTube channel and probably on your blog and stuff as well, but what are some of your kind of ultimate top tips for growing your following?
I've actually switched top tip number one recently.
Okay.
So top tip number one always used to be engagement. And whilst that is like top tip 1.5, like because thing is, Instagram knows when you're engaging, the algorithm knows when you're actually involved in the app.
Messed up, isn't it?
Yeah, like it wants you to spend time on the app. And like the fact that our phones tell us how much time we spend on our phones at the end of the week and stuff, like Instagram knows how many minutes, hours, days you're putting into its platform, and the more you spend, the more it's going to reward you. So engagement is so important, because that's how people will find your account, and that's how you show you're an active follower or someone to follow. But I think recently, because I went through, for this whole first half of the year, I was not moving in my follower count at all. Right. I was on 23.5 and I was just stagnant, and it was really like, I always feel like I understand Instagram the best out of all the platforms, and it was frustrating to think, why am I not getting anywhere? I've not changed anything, like I didn't get it. And then Reels came out, and I started posting twice to Reels and once to my feed. And I thought, actually, I've been engaging so much throughout this whole period, and it's not been helping. But like, it's been helping me maintain, but I've not grown. And now, as soon as I started posting 3 times a day, twice being the Reels, I think it's actually consistency and regular posting that helps, because that shows Instagram you are an active account as well. But it also gives you an opportunity to reach new audiences every single time you post a photo with hashtags.
Absolutely.
So,
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, they're obvious points, but it does take time. I think a lot of people think if you just post a photo that you've just snapped and then wander away, that's enough. But it isn't. It's everything. What is it? Everything worth doing, like, takes, I don't know what the quote is, but
no, I get you.
If it's a big deal, it takes time.
Because I think that's my issue, is that my consistency is just in the bin. Like I have like a period where I'll go hard for like a week and I'll post every day, and then it'll suddenly be like a month and I'm like, oh, I haven't posted.
I just checked, the last time I actually like posted like stuff properly on my blog was June.
So I just, consistency is key.
Definitely.
I think it is. And even if that's not like daily, but like for you, consistency is Monday and Friday, for example, that's still your consistency. But I think, like I see some people just do like one a month, and that isn't going to cut it, I don't think, because that's not, you're not refreshing yourself in people's feeds enough.
Because I think it's all about like people knowing. I know Instagram's different because they messed up the chronological feed, but
I've never even understood the algorithm of it to start off with, let alone the fact that it's just constantly changing.
But I think consistency is also just about people knowing when to expect something from you. Like I think especially in terms of other platforms, maybe more so than like social media, blogging and stuff especially, I think it helps to have a day where people know to expect content from you. So
people rely, like people look forward to seeing it, but like with the Instagram having the algorithm, I'm actually going to be unpopular here and say I don't want them to go back to chronological order, because if you really think about it, when you post a tweet, that tweet dies as soon as it reaches like 5 minutes into its lifespan, unless it was insanely popular and gets retweeted a lot. And Instagram, if they went back to chronological, it would be exactly the same. Like you post at 6 at night, let's say, and by 7 no one else is ever going to see that post, and you're not going to get that same engagement. So I think the reason they've done it is because your post has got more chance. Sure, you've got to tackle it in a slightly different avenue, but your post has got more chance of living until tomorrow or tonight. It's going to stay on people's feeds, but they're actually looking at switching the feed. I've done some research recently in it, and there's going to be this section once you reach the last post on your feed to give you suggested posts, which makes me think there's going to be some kind of chronological to it if there's an option to reach the last post on your feed, like once you're caught up.
That's the hard part in terms of every time you're posting is that question of, is it going to die off as soon as it posts off, or is there going to be some way of it staying, and how do we reach that? It's always a guessing game with Instagram, and I think I think that's part of the reason why I've just never been consistent myself, is that I just don't even know anymore.
It's so tricky. It's so
So
tricky.
tricky.
I think one of the things I'd say, I don't know if it's encouraging or not, but like since I've started in 2016, I have never once taken a break from Instagram. So like if people look at my feed, the results of the consistency is there from that. And I think that's evidence that it does work, but also you've got to give it time to work. Like I'm always telling this to people when I give advice, don't do it for a week, and if it doesn't do anything, give up. Do it for months, because it will not notice you've changed unless you keep doing it. Otherwise you're just going to waste your effort anyway.
I also believe aesthetic is a really important part of how you lay out everything. So
I was going to ask this actually,
yellow
like,
tone is
how important do you think a theme is? Like, do you think it's important to have like a pretty looking
because it's stunning.
Like, I know I'm kind of drawn more to I'm kind of drawn more to like themed profiles. I think when I look at someone's and it's just kind of a bit random, I tend, I don't know, I think, I tend to, I think everyone's just kind of got an aesthetic thing where it's just nicer to look at.
If I see something sporadic, I think, okay, well, that's quite sporadic. That means that they might be quite sporadic. Whereas if you've got a consistent theme, it understands and they know what the kind of thing they're looking to show as a person, and as obviously as a blog as well. So I think sporadic kind of things, although it may work for some people, I think having something that's really consistent, really the same, it just looks good, and you're like, okay, they've got it together, I want to follow that.
Totally. Yeah, I think the thing is, people think that a theme has to be like you always flat lay your photos on your bed, but like I don't do that. I used to think my theme had to be that kind of thing, but now my theme is my filter. Like a really good example of this is if you guys have heard of From Be With Love, or she used to be Bookish Bronte on Instagram, and she like does themed months, or she used to, and she actually spoke on a story recently about the fact that she was experiencing a loss in followers, or like it wasn't consistent, because one month she'd do like film noir and then she'd switch to a different theme, so all the people that followed her for film noir didn't want the theme the next month. So the consistency of offering like this yellow thing that I've got going on, people know that's what they're going to get from my feed, and I think that is more appealing. But I think the theme does not have to be the setting. The theme can be the filter, or the way that you edit, or the style. Like I generally wear a lot of yellow, so for me, if I'm out and about, I can easily incorporate that flash of yellow by the sleeve of my jumper, for example, or something. It isn't too hard to keep up with if you set yourself something that is reflective of you as a person as well, I think, and reflects with the space around you.
Because I've seen some people saying that they got really uninspired to carry on with it because they were sticking to a theme, and they're like against like having a themed account because they were like, oh, but I don't always want to take my pictures in the same place. Like, but you don't have to.
You don't have
it's so frustrating.
It's all in the editing.
I think the photos taken in the same place are actually going to negatively affect you if they're constantly, every single photo is exactly the same, just with a different book, is not going to be variety that your audience want to see, because every photo is going to be the same. It's just, the thing is, Instagram, whilst we can write brilliant captions, and whilst the captions are storytelling and they do help us get engagement, the first thing people look at is the photo. And if every single photo is the same, near enough, there's not really that variety, or there's not that growth. Like something I'm noticing is I'm constantly,
they'll look at it and think, hang on, haven't I seen this before? Why would I not? Hang on, have I not liked this? Wait, I'm confused. So I completely agree with that.
I think I'm constantly growing and changing my ideas, and I'm saying, oh, this did really well, I'll try a different setup like this. And you've got to try different stuff to get that growth and see what works well and what doesn't.
So you mentioned the captions. Do you think captions are important then? Because I know there's always been a debate where people are like, should I bother writing captions, or should I just put like an emoji? Like
I find that hard, that bit.
People kind of wonder, do people actually read the captions, or do people just kind of scroll through and look at the pictures?
I think there are two types. Well, there's probably three. There's three types of people with captions. I think there are the people that don't read them at all. There are the people that skim them for the question, because normally people put a question and then just answer the question in the comments. Or there's the people that read the whole caption. And I think the thing is, when I've done training on this and stuff, the examples given have been like, if you are Beyonce, you can post a love heart as your caption and send the photo. Like, she has got infinite amount of followers that will always like anything she posts. That's allowed. You know, but if you're the rest of us who don't have that luxury, writing the caption and making the caption engaging is going to introduce what people want to comment on your post.
Mhm.
And the more
Yeah.
people that comment, the more Instagram sees it as a high performing post, therefore the more people push it to.
Yeah.
But it's more recently this year, the storytelling of captions has become more popular. Again,
Right.
this is why it helps to work in social media, because I have to research all stuff for clients.
Yeah.
But it's the storytelling, the longer captions have overtaken the shorter captions.
Okay.
And we can
Interesting.
see that in things like the tweet limit being extended. People prefer slightly more words to tell a story with than they do a sentence. I always try and do 2 to 3 paragraphs, but I always try and put a question in, usually at the top for the category 2 people that just want to skim for the question and then leave.
Because with that, with posts that you've done where you've done longer captions compared to smaller captions, what would you say would have been your more seen kind of photos based on the caption? Would you say it would be the longer ones or the shorter ones for you?
Do you know what? Honestly, I don't think I see much of a correlation. I think I always think it relies on what the book is in the photo, to be honest, which is a sad reality, because sometimes you want to boost a smaller book and it doesn't get, like, not to say that that means you wouldn't do it, but it just doesn't get the same engagement as a huge book would do, which is frustrating. And I think the captions are definitely really important, but I don't know how much they encourage whether someone likes or comments on a post, because I see variation. If I've got a longer caption or a shorter caption, I don't tend to see. I think there's some questions you can ask in a caption that are going to be more encouraging, like a good favorite is, what is your current read in emojis, or something like that, or like predicted text, complete the sentence in predictive text. Those are really easy because no one has to think about it. Whereas the questions like, what's your current read, and just that, everyone asks those questions, so try and think of something a bit more different to ask. If you can. Sometimes it's fine to go back to the old reliable, but
so let's talk about the one thing that bloggers everywhere are kind of terrified by, and that is monetization. So even now, making money as a blogger is still seen as being a bit of a like weird thing. It's kind of, I think people are, unfortunately, there's like a misconception that if people blog with a goal of making money from it, they're doing it for the wrong reasons, which kind of makes me mad when I see people saying, like, they're asking questions about, like, how do I start making money from it? And people are just like, don't think about that. It's a hobby. Like, don't have that as a goal. And it's this really annoying misconception where people are just like, they think that people are going into it for the wrong reasons. So let's try and debunk that. When did you start being able to make money from either your Instagram or your blog? Like, and how did you like approach it? Did the opportunities like come to you, or did you seek them out?
I properly started making money from it. I think I made a teeny like pound or two, a little tiny bit at the end of 2018, but it really started to the point where I registered for self-employed tax and stuff, all that lovely fun stuff in 2019. Oh.
Love it.
Tax, not fun.
No.
It's become like properly, like, I'm currently in the process of being able to be a homeowner, and like this is certainly something that's been able to help me make that transition and give me that backup, I suppose, because I've been doing it on my own, and it gives me a bit more security. So it's definitely something that's come more into light in the last year, I would say, properly getting active, maybe a little bit over that. But it took, I think in terms of like when you said about me, how to get the opportunities and like whether I approach people and stuff, like I often find it's a bit of a mix. So sometimes someone will come to me and I will then turn it into a promo. I very, very rarely, like 1 in 15 people, that's a very precise figure, would probably 1 in 15 actually come and say, we'd really like to work on you with this collaboration, here's our budget. Like, I don't get that. And I think that's what I find like not a frustration, but when I see people saying, I really want to get paid, why am I not getting these opportunities? It's like, but you're just not turning them into a paid opportunity. There's no harm in asking. And I think as well, like Charlotte, as you were saying, this taboo around saying, how do I start earning money for my blog? It's really frustrating, because I think the half of people are trying to say, don't start with the intention of trying to make money from it, start because you love it. And I think in that sense, yes, start because you love doing it, and then if you're recognizing a profit for this, why can't we be ambitious? Like, at the same time, I know we're not all exclusively women within this industry, but a lot, when I look at my followers, like 90% are women.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that a lot of Bookstagram is women. There's a lot of men that I'm friends with as well. But like, if like, isn't that more of an empowering thing as well, to be like, no, cool, let's go and make our own independent, like, I you know, if you want to go and do something, I'm a firm believer of just do it and have fun and be
absolutely
be dedicated.
That's
because
the fact of it. If you were to say to someone, okay, here's your hobby, if you had the opportunity to make money for it, would you have that? And they'd be like, yeah.
No one's going to say,
is
no,
that any
I
different?
don't want
exactly.
to make extra
No, I don't
money.
make money for my hobby. That's ridiculous. Of course you're going to want to make money from it. So why is that such a taboo thing?
Look at all the athletes. Like, I'm sure they probably started because they loved whatever they did, running, football. It's really frustrating when you see people shaming, but also like, I feel like I can't talk about it as fluidly as I'd like to, because I worry people would be like, well, why do you do this? This is unethical. It's like, I've thought a lot about the way I charge for things and what exactly I charge for.
Exactly.
So it is ethical, because there was a lot of me thinking, well, like, if I'm going to post an Instagram photo up of the book that I'm currently reading, and I'm just posting that because I want to, is that still fair to the books that I'm charging? And I'm like, I had to work it all out as to what I offered, why I offered it, and the way that I offered it. And it became a point where like I'm happy with it, and I don't feel guilty at all for the reason I'm doing it. But why can't we earn cash from it? Like, why can't we do that? I don't.
There was
see
a big
why.
thing recently in the past few days on Twitter, where you might have seen it. There was an author, somebody gave I think they like DNF'd a book, and they explained on Goodreads why, and the author basically went on a rampage on Twitter and started talking about why they were just like, I gave you a proof copy of this book, and basically saying like, I don't expect for you to like write negatively about it, and it kind of sparked this whole discussion about how a lot of publishers and authors, it kind of expect to give a book as payment, and they're just like, so if you want me to write a blog post on this, it's going to take me like at least an hour or something to do it, or if you kind of want to go and post about it on Instagram, whatever, it's time out of your day to do it. And there's this whole thing where people like book bloggers are expected to just kind of take a book as payment, and people are like, well, that's fine, but I can't pay my bills with a book. And it's in any other niche, it seems fine to make money out of doing something, like out of your time, like lifestyle niche,
like a food critic, for example. Literally be like a food critic.
You would expect to get some sort of payment for your time. So I think there's this really weird thing where I don't know why with books, it's this thing where the book should be the payment, and it's really frustrating. I don't know why. It's a thing.
I get that with a lot of stuff, like companies I've worked with in the past, that have offered items and stuff. It's very much been like, oh no, this is the payment. I'm like, I judge it on like what the company is, what the product is. Like, if sometimes someone will message me with something and I'm not like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with this, I've been desperate for this for ages, and they're offering it to me for free in exchange for this promotion. Like, if it was something like that, I would probably drop everything. Like, you know, if Apple ever came to me and were like, we'd love to give you the newest phone, I'd be like, yes, okay. Like, I probably wouldn't, like, I might drop into the bottom, is this a gifted or is this budget, because you just never know if you're not going to ask. But something like that, I'd be like, okay, gimme. Whereas if it's someone that I've not really heard of and it's a new product to me and I do still really want to promote it, but it's not something that I've been dying to receive and feel like really excited to have, you know, I'm mumbling over my words, but basically, you know, sometimes it's not necessarily something that you wanted for free. You wanted the exchange for the promotion, and that you should be valued for that, I think. Like, the thing is, books, we love books, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be here and stuff, but there is a lot of effort that goes into stuff, but there's also a lot of expectation on the client side as to what they're getting in return for that. Like, I've had someone before attack me because I didn't like their book over email and stuff, and tell me to raise my review and stuff. I'm like,
what the heck?
No. And that was just like an author that had sent me their book. Like, they just demanded I raise the review because it was a 5-star rating, and they were like, oh, I need it as a full star. I was like, no, I'll bring it down a star, but I'm not gonna bring it up to the next one. Like, I was being generous, but it's I wish more people would ask, because I don't think there's any harm in asking and just saying, is this a paid opportunity? Because you never know what's going to come out of this. I see a lot of people say, like, you know, it's impossible for bloggers to get paid and it just doesn't happen. And I think we are getting paid. I just think that maybe those of us that are getting paid are a bit worried that if we say we're getting paid, everyone will be like, but why are you getting paid? And everyone will get really mad about it. Because it feels taboo, but I worry if it feels a bit taboo within the industry as well from other bloggers. I worry that there's negative judgment for it, but actually I'm just trying to go out and achieve
It's probably negative judgment because you're in a situation where they want to be. You know, like you have the opportunities because you've asked for it in certain occasions, because you're actually going out of your way to, you know, make that effort. And like, well, why am I not getting that? Ask. You might.
Honestly, that is literally all it is, because no one does ask as well. Well, not no one, but like, you know, not as many people as they should do ask. So you're probably going to be in the minority when you ask, which means there's more of a chance that they will have a budget and they will invest that budget into you. But have a media kit and have all of that stuff. That's what I've got. I've got loads of packages on my media kit with my costs, and I just email that through and I just thought I'd let you know I've got this as well if you ever want to work with me in the future. And yeah, I've worked with small and big publishers with paid collaborations. It just have to ask for the opportunities.
Nice one.
Thanks. I could talk about this all day, honestly, the paid thing.
Go for it.
So you also started a YouTube channel this year on top of everything else. How do you find the time to fit everything in? Like, do you stick to a pretty firm schedule with things, or like how do you manage to be able to like find the time to do it all? Because I know I do so much as well, where I've got like 2 podcasts, and like I'm kind of struggling recently with deciding if I like drop something, because I'm just like, I can't do all this stuff, but I don't want to drop anything. I'm just like, I still want to do it all. How do you find time to fit it all in to your day?
I think insanity hit me when I thought, let's do a YouTube channel as well. I entirely blame
what
lockdown.
Else can I add to my brain?
Honestly, like, because I started a YouTube channel in 2016 when I started the Instagram and stuff. I was doing that, and again, when I look back at that stuff, I'm just like, the cringe, the internal cringe, and I just
my content.
It's just awful. Like, honestly, it's all hidden, but like that I was never able to really maintain because I just didn't have the same level of dedication as I have for it now.
Right.
And then lockdown hit and I thought, you know what, I'm not commuting to and from work. I've got my lunch breaks now at home. I've got the opportunity. I've got a little bit more time. Collectively, I've got an hour and a half more in my day than I did when I had to drive into the office.
Lockdown
so let's give it a go.
Wonderful things for a lot of people.
Lockdown, has given me a lot of opportunities. I know it's been really difficult, but honestly, it has enabled me to do a couple of things that has been getting me into gear. So yeah, it kind of came as that. But honestly, I feel like I daily get asked, how do you have time to do everything? I don't really know how I have time to do everything. I think I am. I'm very organised and I'm very prepared. I always have to-do lists for the whole week, and I know exactly what I've got to do and when I've got to do it. But I think that's part of working with brands as well, that I know that some stuff has a deadline, some doesn't, some does. And I've got to know when I'm putting that out, otherwise I'm messing up. But I think it might help that I manage clients' social media at work, so I have that balance of calendars anyway. But honestly, I think I love it so much, and I see the rewards from it now as well. The fact that I've won awards, I am making money from this, I'm growing in followers, and I love being part of the community. And it's so it feels so nice when you upload and people tell you how much it means to them. I think it's about balancing, not having to do too much, but having to take the time, the break. Sundays, no makeup, no videos. I upload to Instagram and I just sit and do nothing if I can.
Perfect balance.
So what are your do you have any like blog or Instagram goals for the rest of the year? Like what do you kind of want to achieve in the next year or so?
In the next year, so by the end of this year, I would like to hit 30k on Instagram, which I think is possibly, I think is realistic. I didn't have that goal until Reels was introduced and I started growing quite significantly on a daily basis. Like my jump is huge at the moment daily.
I'm not sure about Reels. It's like a poor man's TikTok for me.
See, I don't think it is a poor man's TikTok, because I think it's because if you've already got a following on Instagram and you have nothing on TikTok, you're already boosting yourself on Instagram rather than having to start from. That's why I am doing it, because I wanted to do TikTok stuff, but I thought I don't want to start again. Whereas Instagram,
that unsurety of whether TikTok will actually still be around.
Oh God. So, like if America drops from it, that's going to be appalling.
That's game over.
So I think I'd like to continue
the
growing.
raging success of what's it called, Vine, a couple of
Yeah.
Oh,
That
I
is the
miss
worry.
Vine.
who knows what's going to happen.
I think the fact that Instagram's invested in this kind of thing means that it has a bit more longevity because Instagram's such a solid platform.
Yeah.
And it's much,
Yeah.
I think this is much better than IGTV, which people use, but not in the same way that I think Instagram thought they would.
Yeah.
But in terms like goals, the original question.
Yeah.
30K on Instagram, but no, it's fine. Reels, I like, I love talking about Reels because it's new. I'd really like to hit 5K subscribers on my YouTube if I could.
Mhm.
I don't know.
What are you on now?
3.7.
Right.
So I think it might be realistic. Do you know what is time anymore? I don't understand
Oh
when
my
the
God,
end
I
of the
know.
year even is.
I know.
We're going deep now. What's time?
Yeah.
What is the meaning of life?
No.
Honestly, I would like those two things, but I just like to continue feeling pleasant and happy within the community and
Yeah.
balance it, because there's a pressure to it as well when you grow. Like, no one's telling me how to do this. I'm just trying to do my best. Like, sometimes I say things and I'm like, oh, brain fart, and now that's public.
Yeah.
Me all the time.
Yeah. So for anyone, just to kind of wrap up, for anyone listening who does want to start growing their following, if they're kind of thinking about it and they want to put the effort in, what are your kind of biggest takeaways that people should do straight away? So once they finish listening to this, what if they go away and they pick up Instagram, what's the first things they should kind of start putting their efforts towards? Is it like thinking about consistency? Is it like trying out reels? Like what
Is it
do
a
you kind of
theme?
advise
Like what?
Oh my God, all of the above. Okay, no.
Sorry.
If you're genuinely, because essentially, I suppose what you're saying is like how to audit your account almost and just have a look at your account as an overview. I think if you're leaving this podcast and you're thinking, I feel really motivated and I want to grow, you can grow. You definitely can.
Yeah.
Everyone can. If you want to look at my feed, just keep scrolling back and back and back and back and back and see how I was when I was like starting. It's not good, but it can, like, anyone can do it. But I think, look at your profile, look at the way it looks if someone is entering your profile as a potential new follower. Is your bio good? Are you using the keywords that you need? Are you putting in the word books, bookstagrammer, blogger, reader? Are you using that space, or have you just said a silly line from a film that you like or something? Utilize that space, utilize the link, whether you're using that to link to other, like Linktree or Cardco, or if you're linking to your blog. Have a good profile picture that is generally statistically profile pictures with some sort of your face, even if your face is covered, or something like a face in them rather than not a face.
Yeah.
Works better. And then, like, are your highlights from your stories, if they got nice little images, and then the feed, is that consistent? Is it looking good? But I think be motivated, dedicate yourself to trying to do it on a daily or another other day basis for a couple of months if you can. Vary your images, save photos that you really like and try and mimic them in your own style. You know, if the photo is really unique and you're taking direct inspiration from it, credit the creator if it's something that's quite unusual and not like, you know, if it's common flat lay, fine. But if it's something like recreating a castle with books on the floor or something, credit. And just go from there and just try different stuff. Use different hashtags. Use 30 hashtags because you can use 30, so why wouldn't you? But vary your hashtags. Again, look at your favorite creators and just mix their hashtags together and take the hashtags that work from them. Oh, there's so much. But I've got a load of tips on my blog as well. But I think it honestly,
we can link to everything in the notes for this. So any videos and articles and stuff you've got about it, send them over and we can.
I will do. I've got a whole category on my blog. But I think for me, the thing I get most frustrated about is when I see people losing the motivation and the dedication. And I think that's the big thing. Like, if you really want to do it, you've got to be dedicated. You can't flake out a week in. And I know that we've all got life and we've all got things happening. But the thing is, nothing just gets handed to you. And like, something my mum always likes to tell me is, if you believe you can do it, you can do it. Like, whatever your goals are, as long as it's not something completely unachievable, like marrying a beautiful celebrity that's already married, then, you know, you can, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I don't believe in the word hope. I will never use the word hope in a sentence. Instead of saying, oh, I hope this has happened, it's like, no, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
It is really about putting your mind to it and setting that goal. And if you're going to do it, you're going to bloody well do it.
Yeah. And like knowing what
Absolutely.
you need to do to actually make it happen, because I think too many people expect things to come to
Fall
them,
into
like
their lap.
they expect things to just happen. But I think with a lot of things like this, especially with growing, especially because online is very saturated, like, you know, you're competing against a lot of people, you have to just know what to do to make things happen. You can't just expect to just grow organically if you're posting like once a month. Like, you've got to just go out there and know what you need to do, kind of have your, I always kind of advise people splitting things into smaller goals. So rather than being, if you've got like 200 followers, don't be like, I'm going to reach 20k. Like, to kind of have your smaller goals and know exactly what you need to do to get there. So so I think your tips are really helpful for that.
It's realistic goals, I think, as well. Like, even if you don't even need to say they're smaller, because like to someone with 200 followers, hitting 500 for them is a big goal. But it's making it realistic. That's why, like, when I said earlier, I think I can hit 30k, I didn't set that goal before because I was just not growing as much, so I didn't want to be mad at myself.
You didn't want to set yourself up for that disappointment if you didn't get it.
I think it's about positivity and enjoying what it is, and not setting yourself this goal that you're going to think at the end of the year, for God's sake, why didn't I do that? I don't like it. But I think be real, be genuine, but be unique with it and stuff. Post your stories as well is something I would say. Not enough people post actual genuine behind the scenes content. Sharing other content to your stories is great, but Instagram's algorithm instantly debunks your story a little bit. Like, your organic content, it's meant to be a backdoor, but I think personality and stuff behind it adds that extra, because I think one of the things that's more unique, or that I try and say is my USP of my account, is the bubbly, sunflowery, yellowy positivity, because that's what I'm like.
So personality is so important, isn't it? Like, because you can have this most beautiful display, but if you're a kind of person that's like very much like moody, or like not a genuine happy person, that's just a fake side of you. No one will actually know the real you. And I've seen so many accounts where I've met those people in real life, and like, you are not the person that I've seen online. And it's quite horrifying.
I've seen so many people like that, or when they do post more on their stories, they're suddenly really moody, and like, I genuinely think my personality is seep through into my feed rather than the other way around. Like, this is what I am actually. I have down days, but I think I'm fairly energetic and bubbly, and that's what my feed is, because that's me. It's easier. Be genuine. It's easier.
Absolutely.
So if you want to, if you're kind of thinking about trying to grow, then I hope some of these tips help. As I said, we'll link to loads of Beth's resources and stuff in the links to this episode. And you can get to that at wonderfullybookish.co.uk/podcast. This will be going up on my YouTube channel as well. So I hope these tips have helped. Thank you very much for sharing them.
Thanks, Beth. It was great.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun. I love talking about this kind of thing.
No problem. Well, it could be hours long, but
it could be. People can message me if they've got any questions as well. I'm always happy to reply to messages and stuff.
That's cool.
Fine.
So where are the main places that people can find you online?
So my Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, blog are all BooksNest. Everything is BooksNest, booksnest.co.uk, or at BooksNest on the other ones. So if Instagram's probably the easiest place to direct message me if you guys want any questions answered about Instagram, or want me to look at your account and stuff. So
cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
We will see you at some point. I was going to say next week, but I don't know when we're posting. We're talking about consistency, and then there's us just like, we're just going to post whenever. But I'm very excited that we're finally getting this podcast back up and running.
Me too.
Thanks for being our first guest back in our relaunch of our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll see you soon.